G'day guys, Aaron here from Shooting Stuff Australia, and thanks for tuning in to another gun review. Now this is a very new gun, one of the first on the market actually. This is the Ruger American chambered in the new 350 Legend. So it's a straight-walled case of 350 Legend, and it claims to be the fastest straight-wall round on the market. As I understand, the 350 Legend is really only good up to about 300 metres, and it really just drops off after that. So it's a very light rifle, like most Ruger Americans are. It's a synthetic stock with a bit of grip texturing at the front here. So it comes with a 16-inch barrel, and it comes also with a Picatinny rail already on there. It's got a tang safety. The bolt is, I'd say, medium in smoothness. It's not exactly smooth, but it's not as rough as some of the other rifles out there. I've even found rougher bolts on more expensive rifles. It's a 70-degree bolt throw, and it's very easy to manipulate. Comes with a threaded barrel, but you wouldn't really need a muzzle brake on this, and of course, being Australia, suppressors are banned. So the trigger comes straight from the factory, set at 4 pounds. So it is a little bit heavy trigger for me for hunting, but it can be adjusted from 3 to 5 pounds. So I'd get it straight down to 3 pounds if I owned this gun. So it comes with a 5-round magazine, even though it looks like a 10-rounder, but it's only 5, but you can buy 10-round extra mags for these. So it's definitely a good little package, and I will be really interested to see how this 300 Legend goes. And it's topped off with a Leupold VX Freedom. Now this is a 3-9, so it's good for your hunting applications. So it's got a CDS turret on it. So this is actually calibrated to the 150 grain 300 Legend rounds. Then it's just set from 100 to 500 meters. So we will give that a bit of a test. I've never got my Leupold scopes done with the CDS on it, so it'll be very interesting to see how well that works. So let's just get out there and give it a go. So we did have a little bit of trouble sighting this in because it's only a 9x scope, so it's not really made for target shooting, for getting the very small groups, because it's just really hard to see exactly the crosshairs on the target. So we will just jump in and give this a go and see what sort of groups we can get out of the 150s and the 180s. So we started off with the 150 grain polymer tip round. Now this was travelling at 2,325 feet a second, and by the time it had travelled to 100 metres, it would have dropped 400 feet a second from that. So I've got to admit, I'm not very impressed at all with the 135mm group. Now we did spend quite some time trying to sight this gun in, and to be honest, none of these groups were really good at all. Just when we were trying to just sight the thing in, it was an absolute nightmare trying to get this sighted in. They were just throwing them everywhere. Then we moved over to the 180 grainers. Now these are travelling at 2,100 feet a second, and well, they did shoot a bit better, and by better I mean it's an 85mm group. So overall, starting out this review, I was not too impressed with the grouping. It's a shame that no other brand has any ammunition in this, but I dare say it will be coming out at a later date. It'll be very interesting to see how they work. So let's punch this out a little bit further. being a CDS scope, it just has the marks for the different distances. So we've got the gong at 200 meters, so we'll give this a go at 200 and then go back a bit further and see how accurate it matches up with the 150 grain that it is actually dialed in for or calibrated for. We'll also just do some of the 180s just to see how they go as well. So what do I think of this? Well, I didn't mind it at all. The gun is a very light gun, but it is an entry-level hunting rifle. This is not a target rifle at all, as you can see by the 100-meter groups. But then again, it could have come down to the ammunition as well. Unfortunately, at the time of recording this, the only ammunition I could get for this was Winchester ammunition. And I've never really had much luck with their stuff. As for the scope, the CDS turrets, I just don't like at all. It's meant to be calibrated to it, and as you can see, especially at longer distances, it just didn't really work for me at all. I've always been a bit skeptical of it. I do have a Leupold scope I use for hunting my 30-06, and it is a very nice scope, but I will not be getting those turrets made up for it. Now the trigger is a very heavy trigger, and that could have been some of the reason why the grouping wasn't that bad, because you do tend to pull it, and being a light gun, this does jump around a bit. But then again, it is just a hunting rifle. It's not made for targets, and I definitely know for a fact these are not target rounds. This would be a good one to do for a load development and see how good you can get these down to, but it's just hard to really say overall when there's only two types of ammunition in Australia available, the 150 grain Winchester and the 180 grain Winchester. I was comfortable enough to shoot, it worked really well. This is meant to be a 10 round magazine, but it seems to be capped at 5 rounds. I don't know why they've done that. I really don't. It just doesn't seem right, but you can buy 10 round magazines for them. Right now, I would not highly recommend this round at all. The gun, I don't really think there's much of a problem with it at all, but it's just the caliber. Until there's more brands of ammunition out there and more information on it, I really don't think it'll be something that I would be buying. I'd just like to see a bit more development in the round before I'd actually fork out money for it. As for hitting power, boy, it really does hit hard at what you're aiming at. So I do think this would be an okay rifle and round for just close quarters sort of shooting. Just shooting out to probably 200 meters, I'd say, you'd probably hit pretty much everything. Much past that, I would go for a bigger caliber and a more accurate caliber along the lines of a 30-06. So guys, and remember, you can find me on Instagram that I'm really trying to build up, and on Facebook, and of course you can donate to my Patreon if you like these sort of videos. Every cent helps, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.